One of the important concepts you need to understand is the concept of authentication session. So when a user logs in, NextAuth creates an authentication session for that user. By default, that session is represented as a JSON web token. Let me show you where it is. So open up DevTools, go to the Application tab, then open Cookies, and look at our website. So here we have a cookie by this name, NextAuth Session Token. So cookies, as you probably know, are small pieces of information that are exchanged between the client and server with each request. So anytime our application sends a request to the server, these cookies or these pieces of information are sent to the server. Now, here we have a cookie called Session Token. Look at the value. It looks like a long random string, but this is actually a JSON web token. A JSON web token is like an ID card, like a passport or a driver license that the client uses to identify itself. Now, behind this long string, we actually have a JSON object. That JSON object is encoded using the base 64 algorithm. That is why we cannot see its content here. But the server uses NextAuth, and NextAuth knows how to decode this. Let me take you behind the scene and show you this JSON web token. So back to our project. Let's do something fun. Now, you never have to do this in real life projects. This is just to help you better understand what happens under the hood. So here in the auth folder, let's add a new folder called token. Then we add our route file. In this route file, let's import the get token function from NextAuth/JWT, which is short for JSON web token. Then we export a get function. We give it a request of type next request. In this function, we call get token. We give it an object and set rec to our request. Now this returns a promise, so we have to await it to get the token. And then we make this async. Finally, let's return a response with this token. Now back to the browser. Let's go to API/auth/token. All right, here's our JSON web token. In this JSON object, we have a few properties like name, email, picture. These are all the pieces of information we received from Google. We also have sub, which is like the user ID. We have IAT, which is short for issued at, and this is the timestamp of when this token was issued. We also have the expiration. By default, our tokens are valid for 30 days. So this JSON object is called a JSON web token, and it's like an identification card that the client sends to the server with each request. So to recap, when the user logs in, NextAuth creates an authentication session for that user. By default, it represents that session using a JSON web token. So now that you understand what authentication sessions are, next I'm going to show you how we can access this session on the client.